Welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and I'm just a little bit frustrated. Let me tell you why. I just did an entire video without having it recording. Yeah, it's been that kind of day. So yeah, I am here with my August. I made the same mistake before, my August TBR / pile of possibilities. Some of the books that I have here are definites and some of them are piles of possibilities, and I'll kind of tell you which is which. Before we get into that, I did want to get into my pins. I am keeping up with my pins here. Today's pin says I'm with her. It's also coming off my shirt, so I'll hold it up so you can see it. And I have been growing my collection of pins, but I wanted to share two with you. I should preface this by saying that I am filming this on Tuesday, July 23rd. There was no video today because I fought all night to edit a video for today, and then it didn't work and I gave up. That's why there was no video today. But I have two that I wanted to share with you, and I got these about 2 weeks ago. This one is sentimental now. This is now a sentimental one, but I hope someday it's worth money. And that is, I'm riding with Biden again in 2024. So this is gonna go with my Dark Brandon 2024 mug. Someday it'll be worth money. If nothing else, it'll be a novelty. I'm glad I have both. Now this other one I got before the RNC and before the other guy, the former guy's, or the felon guy, whichever, his VP was announced, and that made this a more meaningful pin. I got it, see, it's a demo cat. I got it because I like cats, but he doesn't. If you know anything about him, you know about the cat ladies. Now I am not a childless cat lady. I'm a not childless cat lady. I have two children, but I am a cat lady, so there you go. Those are my pins. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm going to go through what I have. It's not super long, but then I am going to do my dice game, have my dice game to choose the next book to add to my next random book to add to my priority TBR shelf. I'd like to say it's my random book for the month, but I have yet to read a book that I chose from there. So, you know, it's just randomly going to get added there. To make editing easier for myself, I'm going to start with the books I don't have physical copies of. Two of these I do actually own, but they're on my Kobo, and three of these I own. Actually, three of these I own. They're on my Kobo. One I'm going to be getting from the library. And the first one, I'm going to be reading this early in the month. This is Elatsoe by Darcie Little Badger. This is for my marginalized book group. It is our August book, and our meeting is the second Saturday in August. So I have like that time, I think it's August 10th, excuse me. Oh, I gotta make sure I'm back early from something on that. August 10th. I'm looking forward to reading it. I have read A Snake Falls to Earth. I think that was her other book's title, which I really enjoyed. I thought she was a really interesting writer. It was a very unique story, and I've heard nothing but good things about this. I know that Alex at Frank Fiction read it last year, I think, and really enjoyed it. And there is a sequel to it coming out soon. So looking forward to Elatsoe. And the second book that is for a book club, this is for my August library book club, which will be like August 3rd. So I'm going to be reading this at the end of July, is A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. This is for my library book group. Yeah. So I have read Isabel Allende before. I have not read this one. I have enjoyed her. I am looking forward. I was actually kind of surprised when I went through all my ebooks to realize I didn't own this one, but that's okay. I'm going to get it from the library. It's all going to be good. It's going to be great. Now the other two are pile of possibilities, but pretty strong. And they're coming off of this, which is my Powell's Bingo card, which of course I have to get blackout over. I have a lot of in-process ones here, so it's actually more complete than it looks. But I'm focusing on two squares here. The first one is Non-Human Protagonist. And for this, I am going to read Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguru. I've had this forever. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I haven't read it. If anyone would like to buddy read this with me, let me know and we'll work something out. Yeah, it's time for me, and I own it, so time for me to read it. And there'll be Non-Human Protagonist. And the other square I'm working on is a friend's favorite book. So I asked Bookish Best Friend to give me a book title, and she recommended Light from Uncommon Stars, which I do own. So we're gonna do that. Again, if anyone wants somebody to read, let me know. I believe it's fairly short. This one could also go under not my style because it isn't really my style of book, but I already have a book there, so that's fine. It'll work for a friend's favorite book. So those two, they're very strong possibilities because this ends on August 31st and I still have to finish that square. So, and I have other squares that I have to finish, but it'll work out. I have a number of these are currently in process. So there you go. Okay, so those are the digital books I have to read. Now let me go through my physical books. Again, this list is not long, and I'm going to start with my two definites. These are two TBR books. The first one is just my Agatha Christie for the month. If you've been watching this channel, you know that I am reading Agatha Christie's novels in roughly publication order. It's rough. I mean, I will jump forward if for reasons, whatever. Then this is just the next in publication order. I do one a month. The interesting about this is a Poirot novel. The interesting thing about it is I think I have, in fact, I'm 98% sure I have seen the Poirot episode of this. So I think I know the solution. That's not deterring me from reading this because there is some artistic license that goes into those episodes, so this is different in that. The solution is probably the same, but there are things going on. And also, I have previously read an Agatha Christie book where I had already seen the episode, and that was Murder in Mesopotamia. And that actually made the book more successful for me. To be fair, I think that might be specific to that book, because that's kind of an outrageous book. Like I mean, the murder and everything is like, really? But I got through those feelings of disbelief, like not good disbelief, like really, watching the show. So when I got to the book, I could just kind of enjoy the characters and the writing. So that might be a similar case here, although I have heard this is a better book than Murder in Mesopotamia. But I will be reading this one very early in the month. I usually like to read these like the first book of the month. And the second book that is a definite, we just ironed out a date before I started this video, this is reread for me, obviously, and that's Ordinary Grace by William Krueger. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Kim from Kim's Book Life, and she's a commenter. She doesn't have a channel, but you'll see her in the comments. If you know me, you know I love this book. This was the first of his standalones, and he tells a story. He got into writing the Cork O'Connor series, which is a mystery thriller series, and that sells. And people want mystery thriller and its genre, which there's nothing wrong with it. I really enjoy it. In fact, one of the reasons why you know what? There's one other definite on here that I forgot to mention, and that's Spirit Crossing, which is the next Cork O'Connor, which is coming out in August. So I already have it pre-ordered on Kobo at midnight. It shows up on my device, and I'll probably be reading it that day. But anyway, back to Ordinary Grace. So the thing is that William Krueger didn't necessarily want to be a mystery thriller writer, although he does appreciate writing it, and he enjoys Cork O'Connor. But this was a departure for him, and if you kind of map out like his books and his writing style in the order they came, it was pretty clear that this proved that he could be a literary writer. And after this book came out, the Cork O'Connor series became more literary. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rereading this one. I have fond memories of reading it the first time, but it's been many years. So some of the details are fuzzy to me, but looking forward to it. Okay. The next one, those are my absolute definites for this month. The next one is a definite, I am definitely going to read it, but it might be in September. And this is my third quarter Historathon book. And that is The Young Queens, 3 Renaissance Women and the Price of Power by Leah Redmond Chang. I first heard about this book when it was longlisted for the inaugural Nonfiction Women's Prize. It wasn't shortlisted, but it was longlisted. And I do love me some European queens. So this was kind of a no-brainer book for me. And I did say when I got it that I was going to hold it for a third quarter Historathon. I'm quite looking forward to it. So yes, we're gonna, so far I have, let's see, well, first quarter was spent in ancient Greece and Rome, but then second quarter was spent in medieval England. So we're just going into Renaissance Europe, because we're talking about Mary Queen of Scots, Catherine de Medici, and Elizabeth of Valois. So looking forward to that. But again, it may not happen until September. So the next book This is sort of a timely book. Going back to this. I have read Hillbilly Elegy. I read it shortly after it was initially released. It was not yet in paperback when I read it, so that's whenever it was released was the year I read it, before J.D. Vance became a thing. And I remember being very disappointed in it for a couple reasons. One is I was like, does this guy know he's not from Appalachia? like I was reading this whole thing going, this is in Appalachia. What is he talking about? What, you know? Also, I found it a very derogatory novel, and I found the author to be kind of a dick. And I stand by all of those. But I was kind of inspired to pick this one up because I was on Threads. You can find me on Threads. I am political on Threads, so that's where a lot of my political stuff goes. But someone had said, I just got Hillbilly Elegy. I'm reading it to understand. And I commented and say, that book's not going to help you understand because that book it just isn't. But I decided to pick up a book, and you've seen this on TBRs before, and I just haven't gotten to it, but I'm putting it back on that will I think, help understand the culture of Appalachia. And that is Hill Women by Cassie Chambers. I just said Chassie Chambers? Cassie Chambers. So Chambers is from Appalachia, and this is the story of women in her family, I believe. Yes. She grew up in the holler. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. As I said, I've had it on TBRs before, and it's like, it was on Nonfiction November and I didn't get to it. And it's time to read this one. So yeah, this is my political pick for the month. Now, it's time to find what random book is gonna go sit on my, where'd my thing go here? It's under a pile of books. On my priority TBR list, and I might get to it this month. So if you don't know my TBR game, let me explain it to you quickly. I love watching people's TBR games, but I don't understand most of them. A lot of them are very complicated. This one is not. I learned about this from the book Krueger. So I have, if you can see here, 3 multicolored dice. I have red, blue, and green. And I'm gonna roll them. And here I have a little schematic of my TBR bookshelves. I have 2 of them. So this one has 5 shelves, this one has 3. And what I've done is I've numbered in blue each of the corners of the bookshelf. So that's my starting point. Whatever number I roll in blue is my starting point. And then from there, I will go up or down, depending which corner, whatever roll I get on green. And then I will go in whatever roll I get on red. So we're gonna see, I'm gonna roll them all at once. Okay, so my blue is 6. So I'm going to be starting in the upper corner of the shelf. My green is 2. I'm gonna go down 2, and then I'm gonna go into, and I'm gonna go do that. And because I'm not tech savvy, I'm just gonna do it and then show you what book it is. So hold tight. Well, I'll edit out the holding tight thing. I'll be back like instantly with the book. Okie dokie. So I have an interesting one this time. Now, you watched last month, you know my first, so I started doing this is the 4th time I've done it. The first 2 I'm kind of iffy about because I've heard not great things about those books, but they're still on my shelf. The 3rd one I am excited to read, I just didn't get to it this month, and that is Empire of Wild by Cymbeline. This one is my first nonfiction pick, and it's one that I'm actually looking forward to, and if I don't get to it this month, it'll work for Nonfiction November. But I've heard really good things about this book, so I'm excited to read it. And that is The Science of Murder, The Forensics of Agatha Christie by Carla Valentine. So this talks about, so Agatha Christie, if you don't know much about Agatha Christie, during World War I, she worked in a pharmacy in a hospital. So she learned about poisons. And so not all of her murders are poison, but you know, she did know the forensics of the time. And this goes into that. So I know people who've read this and enjoyed it. And yeah, so that is my pick, and I am happy about that pick. So there you go. That's my August TBR / pile of possibilities. Possibilities. If you know what if you have books you're going to try to get to in August, let me know down below. Oh, I forgot. There's one other book that I am going to read, and it's buried. I'm sorry, I can't get to it. We'll put a picture up here. I can't believe I forgot it. one more book, and this is another we'll definitely read, and that's Cymbeline by William Shakespeare. That is my Shakespeare book for August. I don't know what it's about. I know nothing about this play, so we'll see how it goes. I'd show you the cover, but it's like at the bottom of this pile over here, so I can't get to it, but there you go. Cymbeline. Again, thank you very much. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.